although he was younger, and his left hand he placed on Manasseh's head. He guided his hands deliberately, for Manasseh was the firstborn. Yeah. And he blessed Joseph and said, God, before whom my fathers, Abraham and Isaac, walked, God, who sustained me as long as I am alive until this day. May the angel who redeemed me from all harm bless the youth, and may they be called by my name in the name of my fathers, Abraham and Isaac, and may they multiply abundantly like fish in the midst of the land. And Joseph saw that his father was placing his right hand on Ephraim's head, and it displeased him. So he held up his father's hand to remove it from Ephraim's hand, to place it on Manasseh's head. And Joseph said to his father, Not so, father, for this one is the firstborn. Put your right hand on his head. But his father refused and said, I know, my son, I know. He too will become a people, and he too will become great. But his younger brother will be greater than he, and his children's fame will fill the nations. So he blessed them on that day, saying, With you Israel will bless, saying, May God make you like Ephraim and Manasseh. And he placed Ephraim before Manasseh. And Israel said to Joseph, Behold, I am going to die, and God will be with you, and he will return to you the land of your forefathers. And I have given you one portion over your brothers, which I took from the hand of the Amorite with my sword and with my bow. Jacob called for his sons and said, Gather, and I will tell you what will happen to you at the end of days. Gather and listen, sons of Jacob, and listen to Israel your father. Reuben, you are my firstborn, my strength, and the first of my might. You should have superior in rank and superior in power. The restless of the water, you shall not have superiority. For you ascended upon your father's couch, and you profaned him who ascended upon my bed. Simeon and Levi are brothers. Stolen instruments are their weapons. Let my soul not enter into their council. My honor, you shall not join their assembly. For in their wrath they killed a man, and with their will they hamstrung a bull. Cursed be their wrath, for it is mighty, and their anger because it is harsh. I will separate them throughout Jacob, and I will scatter them throughout Israel. Judah, your brothers will acknowledge you. Your hand will be at the nape of your enemies. Your father's sons will prostrate themselves to you. A cub and a grown lion is Judah. For the prey, my son, you withdrew. He crouched and rested like a lion, and like a lion, who will rouse him? The scepter shall not depart from Judah, nor the student of the law between his feet, until Shiloh comes, and to him will be the gatherings of peoples. He will bind his foal to a vine, and to a tendril he binds his young donkey. His garment with wine. He launders his garment with wine, and with the blood of grapes binds his raiment. Is there another line? He is red-eyed from wine and white-toothed from milk. Zebulun will dwell on the coast of the seas. He will be at the harbor of the ships, and his boundary will be at Zidon. Issachar is a bony donkey lying between the boundaries. He saw a resting place, that it was good, and the land, that it was pleasant. And he bent his shoulder to bear burdens, and he became an intruder laborer. Dan will avenge his people, like the tribes of Israel. Dan will be a serpent on the road, a viper on the path, which bites the horse's heels, so its rider falls backwards. For your salvation I hope, O Lord. As for Gad, a troop will troop from him, and it will troop back in its tracks. From Asher will come rich food. Asher will come rich food, and he will yield regal delicacies. Naphtali is a swift gazelle. He is one who utters beautiful words. A charming son is Joseph, a son charmed to the eye of the woman. Each one strode along to see him. They heaped bitterness upon him and became quarrelsome. Yea, archers despised him. But his bow was strongly established, and his arms were gilded from the hands of the Almighty. One of Jacob, from there he sustained the rock of Israel. From the house, from the God of your father, he will help you, and with the Almighty, and he will bless you. The blessings of the heavens above, the blessings of the deep lying below, the blessings of the father and mother, the blessings of your father surpass the blessings of my parents. The ends of the everlasting hills, may they come to Joseph's head and to crown of the head of the one who is separated from his brothers. Benjamin is a wolf. He will prey in the morning. He will devour plunder, and in the evening he will divide the spoil. All these are the 12 tribes of Israel, and this is what their father spoke to them, and blessed them, each man according to his blessing, and blessed them. He blessed them. And he commanded to them and said to them, I will be brought into my people. Bury me with my fathers in the cave that is in the field of Ephron the Hittite, in the cave that is in the field of Machpelah, which is before Mamre in the land of Canaan, in which field Abraham in the cave that is in the field of Machpelah, which is before Mamre in the land of Canaan, which field Abraham bought from Ephron the Hittite for a burial property. There they buried Abraham and his wife Sarah. There they buried Isaac and his wife Rebekah, and there I buried Leah. The purchase of the field and the cave therein was from the sons of Heth. And Jacob concluded, commanding his sons, and he drew his legs up onto the bed and expired, and was brought into his people. Joseph fell on his father's face, and he wept over him and kissed him. And Joseph commanded his servants, the physicians, to embalm his father, and the physicians embalmed him, Israel. And 40 days were completed for him, for so are the days of embalming completed. And the Egyptians wept over him 70 days. When the days of weeping had passed, Joseph spoke to Pharaoh's household, saying, If now I have found favor in your eyes, speak now in Pharaoh's ears, saying, My father adjured me, saying, Behold, I am going to die. In my grave, which I dug for myself in the land of Canaan, there you shall bury me. So now please, let me go up and bury my father and return. And Pharaoh said, Go up and bury your father as he adjured you. So Joseph went up to bury his father, and all Pharaoh's servants, the elder of his house, and all the elders of the land of Egypt went up with him. And Joseph's entire household, and his brothers and his father's household, only their young children and their flocks and cattle did they leave in the land of Goshen. And chariots and horsemen also went up with him, and the camp was very numerous. And they came to the threshing floor of the thorn bushes, which is on the other side of the Jordan. And there they conducted a very great and impressive eulogy. And he made for his father a mourning of 7 days. The Canaanites, the inhabitants of the land, saw the mourning at the threshing floor of the thorn bushes. And they said, This is an intense mourning for the Egyptians. Therefore they named it Abel Mitzrayim, Egypt mourns, which is on the other side of the Jordan. And his sons did to him just as he commanded him. And his sons carried him to the land of Canaan, and they buried him in the cave of the field of Machpelah, which field Abraham had bought for a burial property from Ephron the Hittite before Mamre. And Joseph returned to Egypt, he and his brothers, and all who had gone up with him to bury his father, after he had buried his father. Now Joseph's brothers saw that their father had died, and they said, Perhaps Joseph will hate us, and return to us all the evil that we did to him. So they commanded messengers to go to Joseph to say, "Your father commanded us before his death, saying, 'Now say you to Joseph, please now forgive your brother's transgression and their sin, for they did evil to you. Now please forgive the transgression of the servants of the God of your father.' Joseph wept when they spoke to him. His brothers also went and fell before him, and they said, 'Behold, we are your slaves.' But Joseph said, 'Do not be afraid, for am I instead of God? Indeed, you intended evil against me, but God designed it for good, in order to bring about what is at present, to keep great populace alive. So now do not fear. I will sustain you and your small children.' And he comforted them and spoke to their hearts. So Joseph dwelt in Egypt, he and his father's household, and Joseph lived 100 years and 10 years. Joseph saw the children of the third generation born to Ephraim, and also the sons of Machir, the son of Manasseh, were born on Joseph's knees. Joseph said to his brothers, 'I am going to die. God will surely remember you and take you up out of this land, to the land that he swore to Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob.' And Joseph adjured the children of Israel, saying, 'God will surely remember you, and you shall take up my bones out of here.' And Joseph died at the age of 110 years, and they embalmed him, and he was placed into the coffin in Egypt.
Thank you. We'll do the closing blessing for after hearing the words of the Torah.
Blessed are you, Lord our God, King of the universe, who gave us the Torah of truth and set everlasting life within our midst. Blessed are you, Lord, giver of the Torah.
Okay, are you ready for your speech? Is everybody, you can maybe be seated, thank you. Everybody have water, comfortable as you can be. She's gonna, you should stand to deliver your speech.
Okay.
Turn it on.
The printer kind of messed up, so
for the
beginning part, I need to read it off the computer. So
Can I do that for you? Or you
yeah,
got it?
I got it. Hello and welcome. I'm very excited to be able to share this time with you today. I hope that you leave this place with a blessing that will bless you for much longer than just today. You are all my witnesses. Today I am publicly giving my life to the Lord, but in a much different way than baptism. The word bat mitzvah means daughter of the commandments. The root of the word mitzvah is savah, meaning to follow or to join, like I am symbolically joining God. Today, I'm giving my life to God's commandments. My whole life, I've been preparing for this day. By studying the Torah every week, I have learned the commandments. I'm dedicating myself to keep and uphold them for my whole life. The book of Corinthians states that every matter must be established by the testimony of 2 or 3 witnesses. I am very blessed to be able to have many more than just 3. Thank you for being a part of this night in my life. When I turn 13, it is the next stage toward adulthood. Although I may not be legally an adult yet, in the Bible, once you turn 13, you are held responsible for your actions. My parents say that I am already responsible. I work at the market and do a lot of things to help out. So what is the difference between then and now? As you grow up, the way you see the world changes. You may act and react to things differently than when you were 8 years old. You are also now old enough to understand rules and laws, and you can decide to obey them. I want to choose to make the right decisions. Some things have changed since the biblical era. The need for responsibility is still valid in the present day. In school, you choose who to be around. If you are around bad people, this will affect how you act. If you choose to bully people or even hurt them, you may seem to get away with it, but your choices will shape whom you choose to become. Now it is my choice to follow God's commandments or not. The bat mitzvah is celebrating my choice to commit to partner with or to join God in realizing his plan for my life by following his commandments. On the last night of Hanukkah, my mother and I had a very in-depth conversation. We highlighted the themes of this speech, but we established one of the most important themes is, why do I believe in God? Sometimes I can't put my faith in God into words, but I know he is real. The universe is complex, so complex it couldn't have been started by a big bang or grown through evolution. The world is so beautiful and so balanced, with more stars and planets than we could number. Multiple planets are in a system, and billions of systems are in a galaxy, and billions of galaxies make up the universe. Something so intricate can't just be there. Someone created